Gamers, welcome to the internet's darkest corners, episode 6 by Nick Crowley. If you guys don't already know about Nick Crowley, please go check him out if you enjoy this type of video. Fair warning, this is just some slop reaction content that I will be pausing way too much and yapping way too much. But I appreciate y'all being here. If that sounds like something that's up your alley, listen to some dude yap about these crazy stories, well, then I appreciate you being here. Again, the original video will be linked in the top of the description, as well as right below it will be a link to my Twitch stream. We'd love to have you come hang out sometime. I go live every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. With all that being said, enjoy the video. All right, gamers. Today, we're reacting to the internet's darkest corners 6 by one of my goats, Nick Crowley. Chat, if you guys want to tap in yourselves, there you go. If I make this a reaction into a YouTube video, first link in the description will be this original video. Go watch it yourself, then come back here and watch the reaction if you want to see some dumb hillbilly looking dude geek out about this and share my thoughts. Or at least, you know, go drop a like, drop a sub to Nick Crowley if you somehow are already subscribed to Nick Crowley and you watch this type of content, and maybe throw the video up in another tab and mute the tab, but let it play through so he gets the watch time. We should watch Analog Horror. I'm actually so down. We started watching an Analog Horror series a while ago, and then I didn't finish it. So maybe one night, maybe we'll start doing like a movie night every now and then, bi-weekly or something like that. Once a month, we'll do a movie night where we just watch a long Analog Horror series.
Fifth alarm. Working.
Flash warning, flashing images,
Liberty Road Drive.
Scenes that may be upsetting. Fair warning.
It's 9 a.m. on May 18th, 2024.
Ooh.
Residents of Charlotte,
That's a day after my birthday.
North Carolina wake up to the smell and sight of black smoke billowing up into the sky. The source...
Sorry, just my birthday. Just my birthday cake. My bad, guys.
A massive 7-story apartment complex.
Never mind.
To 239 luxury units.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
Or at least what should have been luxury units. At the time, the structure was still under construction, meaning that thankfully no...
This guy, Nick Crowley, he is 30 seconds into this video, and he already got me feeling uneasy. The way he's presenting this and the music he's got playing in the background and how dark the video is, dude. I feel uncomfy, dude. I feel like I gotta be on edge, dude. I feel like I gotta get a weapon and get ready for whatever might come at me. Pause.
No residents were living there, but this in and of itself presented two major problems.
Yeah,
the first
you love his voice, honestly, Sam, dude. Honestly.
Was that in its current state, the top 5 floors were primarily just the bones of the structure, made almost entirely of wood and insulation, making the building as a whole extremely flammable, meaning that although the fire had started out relatively small, it was quickly going to consume the entire complex if it wasn't put out quickly. Which brings us to the second and even more glaring problem. The building was actively under construction when the fire started, and that morning 17 construction workers had clocked in, all of whom were now in grave danger. And by the time the firefighters arrived on the scene,
Jesus,
the situation was already dire.
Jesus.
And so firefighters rushed in, finding a large group of the employees and leading them out to safety. Though when they made it outside, they made the horrifying realization that they had only found 15 of them.
Jeez.
Somewhere within that labyrinth of burning wooden walls, 2 men were left behind, trapped and calling out to anyone who might hear them. And these pleas weren't just being made to those on the scene, as in the following minutes, one of the trapped men, 30-year-old Demonte Sherrill, would take out his phone, open up Facebook, and go live, revealing the horrifying reality that both he and his friend had found themselves in.
Somebody say hell, we're in South Park.
We're going to be showing our friends the basics of the internet, and we thought you might want to come along. You gotta do it now.
Dude.
If you want a computer,
Bro, freaking Nick Crowley, bro. Oh my god. It doesn't help that there's thunder and lightning in my Minecraft world right now. Damn, dude, that shit extra setting the mood. Dude, there's no way Nick Crowley about to show us see some dude get burned to crisp, bro. That's actually insane, bro. This is how Analog Horror people present their stuff. Yeah, dude, Nick, what the frick? This is freaky!
watch this, watch this, watch this.
His sound design's crazy. I wonder if he edits himself.
Yo, I'm at South Park right now, at work, and the building on fire, and I can't get out.
The stream showed Demonte Sherrill and his friend Ruben Holmes somewhere deep within the prospective apartment complex, and though the fire hadn't yet reached them, the smoke certainly had, blanketing them in a thick, impenetrable fog. not only making breathing extremely difficult, but also making it nearly impossible for rescuers to see them.
It's getting harder and harder for them to see us. We're gonna have to stand out here and see.
Dude.
The building on fire, I'm trapped inside, me and my man.
This was likely one of the reasons why DeMonte chose to start this live stream, hopeful that it could show rescuers exactly where they were. But based on the footage, their positioning was far from ideal.
Just jump. Dude, that's low-key what I was thinking, but that's like... Fuck, man. That's like... What did he say? 8 stories?
They were on the second highest floor, floor 6, which had only one access point.
So there's 6. One access point?
Single stairway that was on the complete opposite side of the building.
You'll live... Oh, floor 6.
Based on their testimony in the footage, something had clearly blocked their path to that one remaining exit, meaning that the only other way out would be to jump. Though at 6 stories in the air, and falling into what would likely be the heart of the fire, this would have meant certain death. There was quite literally nowhere for them to go. Rescue was their only hope.
And let me guess, Nick Crowley, we are not about to get a happy ending here.
Yo, this building is on fire. I'm at work. Somebody send help. We're in South Park.
Seemingly realizing this, DeMonte began to grow more desperate, yelling out into the void of smoke, while Ruben can be seen in the background waving his phone flashlight, with both men doing anything they could to...
Dude, me personally, I'm gonna throw something. I think that's my logic here. I'm gonna chuck something. Try and get somebody's attention. If they can't see me,
help rescuers find them.
I mean, that would probably not be the best move, but if I'm like, oh fuck, this is life or death right now, dude. This is life or death, bro. I'm fucking throwing some boards or something. I'm letting them know where the fuck I'm at. Jump into the water stream from the fire engine and then swim in the water easy. Life is Roblox. Sorry. Oh my gosh, bro.
Before...
No.
The stream abruptly ends. Rescuers were aware of the unfolding situation on the 6th story. They first tried to reach the men by using a massive crane with a basket attached, which can actually be seen in DeMonte's livestream. Though in it, you can see that it's also facing the complete wrong direction, as the smoke was just that impenetrable. However, at one point, it's believed that the crane operator did actually see these men, but the blaze was just too extreme, leading to the operator himself having to be rescued. This left only one real option for saving DeMonte and Ruben. They were going to have to go in after them. And so they climbed that stairway up to floor 6 and started their trek to the opposite end of the structure. Though before they could even make it halfway, the rescuers were relegated to a slow crawl, as the inferno around them raged more and more intensely, and the smoke grew thicker and thicker. Though that's when they began to hear screaming. Somewhere lost in that maze, Ruben and DeMonte were yelling as loud as they could for help. This sound was a sign that they were getting close. Though just then, rescuers would be met with another sound.
All companies working 7741 Liberty Road Drive, evacuate structure, per command. All companies working 7741 Liberty Road Drive, evacuate structure.
Command all companies, this will be defensive at this time. We'll be ready for this side to collapse. Everybody get out of the collapse zone. Confirming you are coming out, but you're not out of the building.
With the order being made for all of them to evacuate, as by this point, the structure was engulfed in flames.
Dude, this is the second time that I've tried to do some sort of reaction content to Mr. Crowley over here. But you know, if I watch a Mr. Ballin video, I'm just yapping, I'm just talking about whatever, making stupid jokes, I'm just trying to make people laugh. This shit is too serious, bro. I can't be like, damn, bro, that's crazy, bro. You know, like, it feels way too serious to be making any jokes. I got my weapon with me already, my giant schlong. See, this is my only resource of laughter here, dude. Hopefully the other one's like at least a little bit more lighthearted. I mean, obviously we're watching a freaking messed up video. Like, there's not gonna be anything super lighthearted, but at least maybe there's something, dude. Damn, Nick. Damn, brother. It's making me depressed.
And a collapse was imminent. The firefighters tried to call out to the two in one last attempt to guide them towards rescue, but they never came. In fact, at that point, the structure fell eerily silent.
That's real, Puddle. That's real.
Leave that structure without DeMonte or Ruben, and minutes later, the fire consumed the entire building, with the temperature inside reaching 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Jesus.
Before
it collapsed.
It would eventually topple to the ground. And inside, DeMonte and Ruben would become the sole fatalities of this catastrophe.
Holy shit.
Yo, I'm at South Park right now at work. The building on fire and I can't get out. It's getting harder and harder for them to see.
Knowing how the story ends would make this live stream difficult for anyone to watch. But what I find most upsetting about it is that the majority of those who initially watched this were his own friends and family that followed him on Facebook, with these viewers including his own mother. And a lot of them probably had no idea he even worked this job, as he had just been hired that week.
Oh my god.
His brother had also caught the stream as it was happening and actually rushed over to the scene where he pleaded with the firefighters to watch the footage.
Yo, this man screamed for help on live!
But despite doing the best they could, there was just too much working against them to save DeMonte and Ruben. Following an investigation into the fire, it was discovered that the crew was using an organic foam insulation, which was known to be extremely flammable and produce thick black smoke. And this became deadly when the machine used to spray that insulation caught fire, sending the whole building up in flames. Where they had yet to install any sort of smoke detector.
2,000 degrees? How hot is fire? I thought fire was like 100 degrees. Your body's like 97.5? Unless I'm completely tripping. Wait, no, that's... No, yeah. Right? I don't know, dude. I'm fucking homeschooled. I mean, 100 Celsius. Oh, shit, twin. This put me totally somewhere else, bro. Are you gonna get me in my homeschool mind fucked up? Boiling, it sets on fire or something? Oh, if you keep boiling water? Yeah, I was about to say, if we're talking degrees, I was just gonna go based off of Fallout 4's intro where Codsworth's like, I have your coffee at 200 and whatever degrees or whatever Celsius, Fahrenheit, whatever. See, I am a dumb. Oh, 212 Fahrenheit. Oh, thank you, Amara. Thank you, Twin. Thank you, Goat. Appreciate you. Don't let us distract you from your English class. So is all that stuff. How hot is fire? I was gonna try and find that website that Stormin always sends to me whenever I'm like, yeah, why is my DVI cord acting weird? It's like the howtogoogle.com or whatever the fuck it is. Love conversions. We love websites that do it for you. Exactly, Twin.
Detector or alarm system to alert the crew.
Don't ask me, dude. I am now feeling sleepy. We're almost 10 hours into this stream. It's really hit me, and I'm already too stupid to figure that stuff out myself.
Making matters worse, there had been a temporary set of stairs made right where the two men had been trapped. But that stairwell had just been removed in order to make way for the permanent set of stairs.
Jesus.
Because of this and a myriad of other issues, the companies involved with this
Chris, yeah? What's up? 24 hours when? My birthday subathon. You still haven't played Doors for your 34 viewers? Lock the fuck in! My bad, Twit. I'm sorry.
Were forced to pay a fine of $50,000 and are currently being sued by the families of both.
How many?
With this construction were forced to pay a fine of $50,000 and are currently being sued by the families of both victims. But regardless of the outcome, nothing will ever make up for the loss of DeMonte Sherrill and Ruben Holmes.
Damn. One exit is crazy, by the way. That's like crazy thing. I mean, I guess that's like standard, but also like, dude, fuck, man. That's crazy. I mean, like that just feels dumb to me. Like, that feels wrong. I mean, you know, cutting costs or whatever logistically makes sense, I guess. But like, even if it's in a luxury apartment building, if it catches fire, you still need, I feel like, more than one exit. I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid. I mean, clearly I am by that Celsius and Fahrenheit conversation. But like, dang, dude, I don't know. I mean, especially luxury apartments though. Luxury apartment, oh yeah, unless it catches on fire, in which case you fucked. Fuck.
Things were getting concerning. Johnny Cashman spoke to his family nearly every single day. But now, on the 6th day without receiving any communication from him, they knew that something was wrong.
Dude.
Johnny lived in Lynchburg, Virginia, hundreds of miles away from his home in Maine.
Who let Nick Crowley get a freaking, what's that one website that all the YouTubers always promote for the music? Dude, who let him get on the horror section of that shit, dude? Who let this guy, I used to use Artlist. Who let this guy use Artlist and just type in horror songs or like horror? Do you hear this shit? This dude got some fucking tribal fucking in the background of this. Do you hear this?
Every single day.
Listen to this.
But now,
listen to this music. Oh, oops, I muted it.
Any communication from him, they knew that something was
wrong. Do you hear that
wrong.
deep guttural?
Johnny lived in Lynchburg, Virginia, hundreds of miles away from his home in Maine, and so, being unable to check on him themselves, they called police in the area and requested a welfare check. Police entered Johnny's apartment on the 19th of April, 2022, and hours later, they would—
I know some dumbass, if I make this a video, is gonna be like, well, actually, that's a base. shifted down, added with distort. Like, okay, bro, you get my point though. Just please tough it out until my English class is over. I need to give live commentary that makes you question your reasoning for trying in life. Fuck. As tempting as that is, I said Madden earlier, and I was thinking like, oh damn, dude, if I didn't stream like the next half an hour, I could play Madden for like 2 hours before I go to sleep. So like, you're kind of fighting that right now. That's, so we'll see. We'll see who wins.
He would call his parents with the news that they had found their son dead on the floor. According to the officers, Johnny had experienced...
Whoa. Not when I'm... Hey, Nick. Not when I'm taking a sip of the prime, bruh. Yes, please play Madden. It might not be entertaining, but it sure as hell keeps you up. Oh, shit. Stay with us? Like a moth to a light. Yeah.
Experienced some sort of medical event that led to GI bleeding that ultimately claimed his life. But this made no sense to Johnny's family. He was only 38 years old. And
GI bleeding. That's gastro. Intestinal. Oh, which means gut and bowels. Yeah, I was going to say that's some sort of internal bleeding, obviously, right? I had to think there for a second, but I was not going to get gastrointestinal. Sorry, I don't know why I'm saying intestinal at this hour of the morning. I'm the resident dictionary. Yo, thank you, twin. Don't go into like, Chris, stay with us. We need you. Aw, look at the dog.
And had just been given a clean bill of health after a full medical exam only 4 months prior. It was so out of the blue, in fact, that they even asked if there were any signs of a struggle.
So, somebody poisoned him. Would that have worked? Would that be gastrointestinal area? Maybe?
Or if there was any evidence that he may have taken his own life. But they were assured that there was no trauma, no drugs, and nothing suspicious found on the scene. And that, as shocking as it was, his cause of death was...
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at the video or anything. I'm just thinking about the episode of Archer where he's like, I forget if it's the thing that scares him the most, and he's like brain aneurysms. And oh my god, I'm blanking on her name. Lana is like brain aneurysms. And he's like, yeah, they can happen at any time and they can just kill you. And he's like, or she's like, seriously? And this doesn't scare you? They're on like some like crazy mission. He's like, no, I can like see that coming. Death knows no bounds or limitations. Oh, okay, yeah, no, that's actually, I'm glad you said that to me before I smoked. If you said that when I smoked, I might have geeked.
Entirely natural, and had likely just been spurred on by drinking and tobacco use, with the only solace being that Johnny didn't suffer, as they stated that he had died instantly.
Huh?
Because of this, no autopsy was performed, as the case seemed as straightforward as it gets. And despite his family questioning if they should get their own autopsy, they were told by officers that it wouldn't be necessary. And so, Johnny's body was cremated and sent back to Maine, in what seemed to be the end of Johnny Cashman's story.
Chat, y'all, yeah, dude. I mean, that is terrifying. I'm gonna be honest with you. I forget, I had some sort of clarity the other day. I was like, yo, honestly, I think this might have been before I went live. It's like, honestly, dude, lived a pretty fucking great life, dude. I've lived a pretty fucking great life. We're up. Knock on wood, I live a lot longer. But, dude, we're up, man. I feel like streaming shit, like, kind of completed something in my life that I've been, like, striving for since I was young. I had, like, a crazy reflective moment, like, last year. I finally moved in with someone that I really, truly, truly care about, and I know cares about me just as much. I've got to work with my favorite artist of all time. I got to meet that motherfucker. I got to take photos of the hives, like, shit like that. Sorry, this is, like, getting really sappy out of nowhere. But I bought a house. I did, so many things that younger me wanted. I'm just really grateful for it all. But yeah, dude, I don't know what it is. Like, my entire life I've been afraid of death, so it's just been me trying to come to terms with that. And like the other day I was like, yeah, dude, if anything ever happened, like, fuck, man, this was a great run, man. Like, I don't want to go, but if I do, then more power to me in the afterlife or something, huh? No worries, no stress of life, nothing like that anymore. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Real. Like I said the other day when we were doing reacts, actually literally the last stream, like, I'm not like, I don't like belong to any religion, but like, I totally believe in an afterlife. Sometimes I get scared. I'm like, fuck, what if it's all black? But like 9 times out of 10, I'm like, yeah, no, dude, I believe there's something, and then that shit gotta be blissful. Unless the Christians are right, or, whatever other religions, like, there is hell. In which case, maybe we're cooked. But yeah, dude, hey, man, in the afterlife, I don't gotta worry about drinking too many energy drinks and then having to piss out a fucking kidney stone or whatever.
10 days after Johnny's body was discovered, his ex-girlfriend and her mother made their way back to his apartment in order to retrieve some of her belongings. She knew that re-entering the space was going to be difficult, but ultimately, there was no way she could have prepared for what was waiting for her inside.
Seagull
There was
reincarnated as a
blood
seagull.
everywhere. It was pooled in the bathrooms, wiped on doors, spread all over the living space, and was even found on a chair and a banister. But the most horrifying part of it all was the walls. They were covered in splattered blood, which revealed long streaking handprints. It was something straight out of a horror movie, and although Johnny's cause of death was deemed natural, what they found in that apartment seemed anything but.
Officers, what were we doing? What happened? Officer? I don't know if you noticed this here, but there's a little bit of blood.
Traumatized by what they were witnessing, the pair
Sorry, I was thinking about like being like, and I'm pretty sure that this person went by him and they were born that way, so I don't think it could have been a period officer. So what's up with all this blood? Oh shit. No, dude, that would be crazy, bro. That'd be insane.
snapped multiple photos of the bloodshed
this is pretty
and ran out
insane
of the
too.
unit directly into Johnny's neighbor. This neighbor revealed that they believed something far worse than a medical emergency had happened to Johnny, as they had a security camera mounted to their door which faced Johnny's unit, and on the day of his passing, it captured something incredibly disturbing.
3:03 p.m. date of death?
The footage shows Johnny making his way up the flight of stairs
Okay.
leading to his apartment at around 3:03 p.m.
Julian, sleep well, goat. Yeah, do we watch some freaky videos? What is
Nothing
this
seems-
eerie ass sounds in the background, bruh? Dude, I don't know, but it's freaking me the fuck out.
Out of the ordinary at all, though it is noteworthy that he was holding an empty glass, perhaps insinuating that he had been drinking. But this doesn't seem to impair his movements much at all, as he punches in the code and enters his home, just as he did every other day.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I'm fucked up, bro, I'm gonna be there like, fuck.
Moments later, something happens inside that unit, and while it goes unseen, it doesn't go unheard.
Oh, dude, what the fuck? Stop, what are you doing? Yo, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing? Yo.
My dumbass would have fell up the stairs entirely sober, by the way. Yo, is this TOS? Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. It's on YouTube.
The audio seems to depict a man yelling, asking repeatedly, "What are you doing?" and begging for something to stop. On top of this, you can also hear loud thuds and banging, almost as if things were falling over inside, or there was some sort of physical altercation, before the unit then goes quiet just a few seconds later. It was unclear if this voice was Johnny's, or perhaps someone else who had been inside the unit, but regardless, one thing was apparent from this audio. There was someone else.
By the way, my therapist said that you eating my ass would fix all my issues. Valen, what the fuck? Did you only fucking pay for a 15-minute session? Like, you've been gone for hardly 20 minutes. What the fuck?
Else in that apartment, despite the fact that Johnny lived alone. And just 7 minutes later, this unseen person would emerge.
7 minutes.
This clearly wasn't Johnny, and after leaving the unit, the anonymous man nearly makes it out of the building before he seems to change his mind, turning around and walking back up the stairs before fiddling with the door handle, touching it only with his sleeve, like he was wiping off his fingerprints. He then walks down the stairs and stops once again, where he seems to be in a state of shock over whatever had just transpired, before he composes himself and walks out of the building. But the footage wasn't quite finished yet.
What?
Just 1 minute later, you can hear Johnny shouting for help from inside the apartment, to which moments after, he stops, and no further sound or activity would come from Johnny's unit until police arrived 5 days later. The footage and the scene at the apartment seemed to contradict what Johnny's family had been told about his death. The blood all over made it obvious that Johnny's death had not happened in an instant. And this, coupled by the presence of this unknown man who was clearly distraught and wiping off his fingerprints, as well as the sound of the apparent struggle inside, seemed to point towards something much more sinister than what was initially conveyed to the family. But even with this footage, police still believed that Johnny's death was due to a medical emergency, as they quickly changed their initial story, saying that the blood spread was due to uncontrollable vomiting, and that Johnny had in fact likely suffered, at least for a short while. But this medical emergency wasn't elaborated on, as they didn't truly know what caused it, as no autopsy was ever performed, nor could one ever be performed, as by this point, Johnny was already cremated, and cremated because of the officer's initial statements. So if Johnny had actually been murdered, which the footage does seem to suggest, there was now virtually no way to prove it. And what makes this even more frustrating is that law enforcement already had this footage, It was collected that very day, and they either didn't fully look through it or didn't think that this was overly suspicious. But everyone else surely did. And soon this video began making the rounds online, leading to one glaring question being asked: who is this man? As no one in Johnny's life recognized him. Well, it wouldn't be until May 11th that investigators would finally ID him as Stephen Church. And upon being questioned, he revealed that he had moved to Lynchburg for work, but the opportunity he had lined up fell through shortly after he arrived.
This is why I don't
leaving
go
him with no money.
outside. That's fair, twin. If I come home one day and this happens?
And without a place to stay, which is when he met Johnny, who offered to let him crash on his couch. He supposedly stayed with Johnny for 3 days, and described Johnny as an alcoholic who drank constantly, including on that fateful day. When Johnny arrived home, Stephen claims that he started drunkenly yelling at him about paying rent, which led to the two getting into a verbal altercation. But he insisted that
This is why my liberal ass says guns are okay. Yeah, dude. That's real, bro. Fuck that.
this
Fuck
altercation
that. I'm saying strap, bro.
never turned physical, and that he left immediately after. To which he quickly went back to clean his prints because he was afraid that Johnny would try and have him arrested for squatting. And having already racked up 2 felonies in his life, Stephen was paranoid about going back to jail. But when Stephen was leaving, he did mention seeing Johnny hunched over the toilet as if he were going to vomit. But he claims to have left before this so-called medical emergency started. This is the gist of Stephen's account from that day. But the problem is, it doesn't really match up with what we're hearing in the video.
What the fuck? What are you doing? Yo, what the fuck, dude?
From the footage, we can hear everything going on in that unit, but at no point do we hear any sort of an argument, nor do we hear anything about rent, with the phrases lending themselves more to a physical struggle rather than a verbal one. In fact, the whole time it appears that we're only hearing one voice. But there is an exception. To my knowledge, it's never been conclusively determined whose voice is who in the recording, and either scenario paints a far different picture of what may have happened inside that room. But regardless, this audio makes it clear that Stephen's story was fabricated at least to some degree, as he also fails to account for the loud banging in the background. And because of this, his version of events is generally rejected, with most people seeming to believe one of 2 main theories. The first is that, upon arriving home, Johnny and Stephen had gotten into a physical altercation, resulting in Johnny taking some sort of blow to his abdomen, which in turn triggered or exacerbated this medical emergency. GI bleeds are horrific, and can certainly cause the level of bleeding that was found in the apartment, and perhaps seeing all the blood coming from Johnny, Stephen started yelling at him, before deciding to run off, fearing that he would be charged for murder. This would explain Stephen's demeanor and actions after leaving the apartment, and why he may have fabricated his story, as he knew or knows that he was directly responsible for Johnny's death. And this blow to the abdomen could have easily been missed by investigators, as the injuries would have been primarily internal. The second theory is that upon arriving home, Johnny naturally experienced a medical emergency leading to this catastrophic GI bleed. Upon seeing this and perhaps being in a state of shock, Stephen yelled at him, demanding to know what was happening and telling him to stop, as perhaps he was moving around the apartment and tracking blood everywhere, which would explain the other voice saying, "I can't stop." I could see how this experience would make no sense to Stephen, and perhaps just having no idea what was happening, he left and tried to make it look like he was never there, as he was afraid of being blamed for whatever was happening to Johnny, and so he essentially left Johnny there to die, whether knowingly or unknowingly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, originally I'm like, holy fuck, this guy killed this guy. And now I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, that actually makes sense. Yeah, okay, I'm kind of seeing it from this guy's point now.
What bothers me about this theory is why 911 was never called, not only by Stephen, but by Johnny too, as his phone was found in the unit with blood on it, implying that he had it in his hand at some point, though it's possible that the massive blood loss just made him too disoriented. Both of these theories seem believable, or at least more so than the explanation that Stephen had given.
We go, man, fuck this Nick Crowley shit, bro. Every time it's made me feel some type of way crazy like, oh, good morning. Thank you so much for watching this far into the video. If you've gotten this far and you haven't already, be sure to drop a like and a sub. And if you really do enjoy your stay, like I said in the beginning of this video, feel free to stop by a Twitch stream. First link in the description. Enjoy the rest of the video. I appreciate you. Dude, like this one is making me feel like, holy fuck. Like medical emergencies and shit, like stress me out a little bit with that. Freaking making me geek a little bit. Okay. And then I just had a horrible thought. Okay. And I have to share it with you all because that's why I do this thing right here. Okay. I was thinking about, best of body cam, please. Maybe after this. But also Madden's kind of calling my name again. It's really got a hold on my wiener right now. My hypothetical wiener. Not seeing men smack each other with their big buff bodies. You know, that doesn't have my wiener. I mean, it kind of does in a different... I mean, anyways, it's traumatic when the loved one of someone that passes away has to see them pass away, right? But it must feel horrible if the person dying is someone like full of empathy that feels bad about dying, but there's nothing they can do about it. Ooh, that just makes me feel, it makes me feel some type of way. I don't know, this video just made me think about that. And now I'm like, oh, fuck. I feel absolutely vile and like just horrible. Fuck you, why do you think of these things? That's like dogs. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that could be it for sure. Well, the thing about dogs, though, is usually dogs are like dying of like, you know, you take them to a vet and then they like hook them up and then they're like, okay. And they're like, you know, they don't know what's going on. They're just like, I'm going to sleep, right? But humans, you know, a lot of times you fully understand what's going on. At least there's a decent chance. So I don't know, dude, that just made me feel some type of total fucking way. Oh my God. Oh my God. Because like all the time whenever I'm thinking about death, I'm like, like I was saying earlier, like, I feel very lucky that I've been able to experience all this in my life. But, like, think about dying. Not, again, God forbid, anytime soon. But, like, you know, that's me, like, coming to terms with shit in my head. I'm like, yeah, dude, whatever lies after death, I'm ready for, you know, whatever. Or, like, I'm, you know, trying to prepare myself for. And, you know, what I've, like, done a lot in this life that I feel very, very grateful and lucky to have been able to do. But then, like, thinking about, like, okay, well, like, my mom and girlfriend, like, how would they react? How would they feel? And then, like, not being able to, like, do anything to, like, stop it. Oh, fuck. Also, somebody that, like, likes control. I like to be able to control, like, myself. Not controlling other people. Although I'm sure I've definitely had that problem in the past before a lot. Or I have had that problem before kind of in relationships and friendships and stuff. To be completely honest. But, like, not being able to do anything to help them. As someone who's pretty close to getting there, bro, shut up. Dude, if you're pretty close to getting there, you only got 4 years on me. What the fuck? See, when I'm old and gray, if I live that long, I'm going to be a proper prick to anyone and everyone. So when I die, nobody is distraught or misses me. Dude, that's literally what I was thinking about. That's literally what I was thinking about a minute ago. I was like, well, okay, all right, well, now I'm going to have to go on my Joker arc and cut everyone off before it's my time. Nah. Will you miss me when I'm gone, Chris? Yes, Valen, immensely, dude. I missed you last night when I spilt my monster all over my fucking floor. And I was like, fuck, is Valen live or around so I can have somebody to fill air for me while I deal with this? Why did that make you miss me? I hate you. Anyways, let's continue. We have at least 2 more fun little things. Please, hopefully none of them are about, you know, digestional tracts or whatever, gastrointestines or whatever, dude, and possibly puking blood. Ugh, dude, I don't even want to look at my Prime. I mean, come on, this thing, the Prime, that, like, you know, God forbid, that's gonna fuck up my system, bro. From now on, after hearing about this story, I'm only eating crackers, saltine crackers, drinking water, and eating fruits and vegetables, bro. And maybe some chicken here and there, dude. Fuck anything else. I'm not putting anything else in my body, bro. My body's a temple. Tortillas right now, dude. I'm not gonna lie. We got some. We just went food shop. I might have to turn up actually. Still gonna shit. Yeah, true. But like, dude. Oh my God. There was a Smite player / streamer I was close to that passed from cancer, and before he did, he set up his Twitch to run Vods 24/7. I'm gonna do that. Oh, I remember you talking about that the other night, dude. Just so you can always have my content. Oh, yo, W, dude. I think the thing that like kind of spurred me on about this, and I don't know, I felt weird talking about it, but like one of my not close friends, but somebody that like I considered a friend in the music scene recently like passed away, like literally like right when I was going on that weekender. So technically like not last weekend now, because it's technically, yesterday was Sunday. So technically 2 weekends ago now. But he just died in his sleep and he was young. And it's just made me like really realize and be like grateful for life and shit. So yeah, dude. But yeah, that dude was like one of the nicest fucking people ever that I've like genuinely like that I've ever fucking met in my life. Just like crazy to think about. So I've been kind of like thinking about that a lot recently, like, just like death and shit, like kind of what we were talking about earlier. But yeah, dude, that's what fucking, it's always the good ones that go first. That's why I'm a giant asshole. Oh, look at what I said. I don't care if you saw it. Wait, what's this? What is this? Me or tortillas right now, very salty. I can taste the heart failure. What the I found a cross outside. If I die, it's Christian's fault. Oh, that's real, dude. No, that's real, dude. Anyways, let's continue on. Maybe we got something else here.
However, in October of 2022, Johnny's case would officially be closed for good, with Stephen being cleared of any wrongdoing, as Johnny's death was labeled the same way that it always has been. A medical emergency that couldn't be further elaborated on.
Just over your Gma? My wait. Oh my god, bro. Let me see here. But it's okay. Add anything of value to the conversation. Wait, hold on. Oh, like when my grandma passed, and that, I was very upset, and still am, I don't want people to feel like that when I go. That plays a toll on people's life. Like, oh yeah, dude. Fair, honestly, bro. Like, that's totally understandable. I mean, the thing is, though, like, having a good impact on someone's life is, way better than not if they have to deal with you passing, like, it's way better to have that. Don't actually stress yourselves out about that shit. Dude, in the end, I think if you have some form of a higher power, just some sort of feelings about things happening for a reason, then that shit happens for a reason. Or like shit will happen like the way that's supposed to, for like a reason and shit. To grieve me or be upset when I die or something. Actually, no, fuck that. I'm gonna be the nicest person to everyone because I don't have to deal with being sad. Exactly. I mean, honestly, dude, that's the other thing. Like, hey, guess what, motherfucker? There's one of two outcomes about to happen here. Either there's fucking afterlife, and I'm gonna go fucking say what's up to all the homies, man. Okay, and all of my fucking family members and my ancestors, and like say what's up to, I was gonna say like, some historical figure, but probably a lot of them are in hell if that is the thing. I'm gonna say what's up to everybody. I'm gonna be like, yo, what's up, God? Okay, or it's gonna be like I'm sleeping. Either way, I'm not gonna be sad. I told up everyone to turn up at my funeral, no crying aloud. Chris, you know where you're going. Dude, if hell is real, we're gonna turn up so hard. Be like, yo, I get it, lake of fire, whatever. Shut the fuck up. It's time to turn up, brother. Have a W impact on people, and I won't have to deal with being sad when I die. I won't be the one crying and missing me. Doesn't matter, exactly. If my family doesn't do hardcore drugs when I die, I'm coming back. Like the Undertaker. My funeral brat is gonna play, and you can only cry if you've had 3 or more drinks of choice. Only auntie outfits. No one will have declining face. Wait, card at my funeral. I'm not even gonna try and read that, bro. Amara will do address to impress IRL at your funeral. That'll be the theme. Yes, exactly like him.
Being that Stephen's shoe prints were not found in the blood,
face
but
card?
Johnny's were, implying that he had not been part of the struggle. But in my mind, this can be explained by both theories mentioned previously. Though regardless, without the possibility of an autopsy, this is likely where this case ends for good. But with this disturbing footage, I can't help but think that there was more to the story.
Fuck, man, I'm thinking about how I have that prime in my body. I keep thinking about how fucking whatever the cause they said was, and now I gotta drink some fucking water and feel like I'm not gonna die any moment.
That we may ever know.
TikTokers find a body. Oh,
it was around
wow.
7:30 a.m.
Epic.
on a warm July morning back in 2019. 17-year-old Beth.
Her face card, like credit card, never declined. She's serving and looking gorge. Dude, my stomach just grumbled. Chat, do we think I'm cooked? What was that thing they said he died from? I gotta look up how common that shit is. That's one of my weirdest fears, weirdly enough, just finding a body. Basically, if you have a good face card, it means that you look amazing. Does that bitch have Kendrick Lamar on the shirt? No, I'm pretty sure that's a different West Coast rapper. That's somebody. Y'all ever seen a body at a funeral? Yeah, dude. Not, didn't find one, just post it up.
Bethany Martin and a 16-year-old friend decide to walk to a gas station near their home in San Antonio, Texas. And as the two of them made their way down the road, their path brought them parallel to a drainage ditch, which was often filled with various trash and other discarded material. But on this day, something far more interesting caught their eye. It looked like a man crouching down and leaned up against...
I'm gonna go into mine and Chucky's bedroom after this is over and be like, I need you to hold me. I have gone through quite the emotional journey watching Nick Crowley. See, if I was playing Madden and doing this right now, I wouldn't be so fucked up about the whole like dying any second in a horrible way or whatever, right? From the internal tract or whatever, right? Because I would be like, oh shit, I need a receiver. Who am I gonna trade with? Or oh, let's look at the scouting or the scouting cards. Who am I gonna draft? Where will this guy be available in the middle of the first round? Do we have any second round prospects that won't absolutely be ass? How do I know I'm not gonna whiff on this wide receiver? Okay, I would maybe give it a second or third thought and then I'd be gone. Now I'm on to the 18th thought about this. I'm like, damn, this back here kind of feels bad. What if I die? You know, so, you know.
Against one of the concrete walls. But the
Whales
closer they
explode
got,
when they
the more
die?
they realized how unusual
Yeah, I think everybody kind of low-key explodes when they die.
his posture was. He looked completely
Mara
unnatural,
just explained it.
and he wasn't moving. And by the time they came face to face with him, the reality of the situation would hit them. They had just found a dead body. This discovery was enough to traumatize anyone, especially two teenagers. And upon calling the police and being sent on their way, Bethany and her friend would make the long walk back home, contemplating what to do next, before they eventually landed on the idea
Bethany,
of sharing
bitch.
their experience with the world. And so, as soon
TikTok?
as they got in the door, they began to set up lights and their camera in order to film a TikTok.
Oh, no. Found a dead body this morning? Bro, what? This is crazy. This is a crazy way to
The
deal
clip
with
showed the
trauma.
two sitting on a couch, appearing to be in a state of shock, with the words, "Us remembering we found a dead body this morning," plastered on the screen, offering no other context aside from the description, which simply read, "I wish we were kidding, all respect to the family." Some offered sympathy for the girls, while others viewed their post as insensitive and...
Dude, if they don't fucking put me in a pose that screams aura in the casket, oh my fucking god, those bitches are getting haunted. Oh my god, if they don't fucking put my body in a stance that screams aura, those bitches are getting haunted so hard. Bro, it's not even like talking and telling the story, it's just cringe. Yeah, I decided that your way of dealing with trauma is cringe. Get out of here.
exploited.
Imagine if your therapist did that to you, Valen. Yeah, there's this guy in my chat. They're just like, cringe. Next. It's like they're watching a TikTok. Next. They have one of the TikTok clickers. Next. You're like, what are you? I'm not a like, next. Bro, I do be talking to her about chat. Oh, I know. Yeah, because you're the one who's like, yeah, I was talking to my therapist about boundaries and how I need to set boundaries with chat.
But others weren't even convinced it was real, partially due to this.
Yeah, it's awesome, Valen. You pay for therapy and then I reap all the benefits. It's awesome, actually. Imagine dying mid-backflip. The therapist would say that to me. She would be like, that's embarrassing for you. Yo, that's actually such a fire roast. Like, she's saying it, she's a bitch sometimes, but I love her. That's actually a fire roast. That's embarrassing for you. I might have to write that down. I might have to put that on a little piece of paper so I'm ready to say it whenever Valen shares something with me. Yeah, man, socialism is great, right? Dude, see, this is what Valen's doing. He's trying to vet me whether I'm based or not. Like the other day when he's like, are you like Sneeko? I'm like, what the fuck? That could mean a plethora of things, brother.
Glaring lack of context. But any doubt of this post's legitimacy would be quickly thwarted by a discovery made not even one full day later, as it was revealed that this recording hadn't actually been the only video that these two girls had made on that fateful day.
Dude, I'm gonna have to tap out on this Nick Crowley video, bro. I'm not gonna lie, this guy's too good at his fucking job. This guy's too good at his fucking stupid YouTuber job.
On their walk to the gas station, the girls had stumbled across the body of 25-year-old Marcus Adams, with the young man having seemingly perished earlier that morning, with it being apparent that he...
And see, now because of the GI tract infection or whatever that other guy allegedly died from, I'm afraid to squeeze my butt cheeks together in fear and clench my hole, okay?
Mara
Do you see that?
_ Mara says Christian best of body chem this fucking guy.
Dude, we gotta get through this, okay? It's like the fucking stupid game earlier that I wasted 3 hours of my night on trying to see a different ending, okay? Because I thought that that was just one story. No, it's giving me different endings and shit, okay? We gotta get through. Wait, what happened to the other guy? He had that fucking whatever infection in his fucking gut that made him puke and throw. Yeah, he died from intestine AIDS. I don't know. I don't know if that's how you really would describe it. But yeah, that's allegedly how he died, according to police. Gastrointestinal. Yeah, that one, dude. See, I'm afraid to clench my butt, my hole together now, man. Go get your yearly checkups, chat. Yo, doc. I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna go to my new doctor and be like, yo, brother, fellas, go get the finger up your butt yearly. Oh, he was 38. Okay, I feel a little bit better about that. But then again, my hairline's kind of the hairline of a 38-year-old, so maybe the rest of my body is. Oh, no, we're so cooked, chat. Hey, it's been fun. Yearly? Yeah, Valen, what are you saying? You get a finger up your butt weekly. What are you talking about when I come visit you? Yeah, I bleed out my butt sometimes, but no big deal. Just some character. 2 fingers and tickle it. And then I can go, what? After that is sending me right now. I kind of been holding on to a little toot, but I'm afraid that I'm gonna start dying. I'm so for real right now. This is a new level of paranoia that I've not reached prior in my life, other than when I was 5 years old and I thought Bigfoot was gonna come get me. Dude, I remember my granddad being like, well, if you haven't seen Bigfoot yet in your life, then you're probably not going to see him anyways. Because think about all the time already that you've never seen him before. And I was like, bitch, I'm 5 years old. What the fuck you mean? All this time, dude. That's like, I know that your guys' life is long. Y'all old. I'm like looking at my parents. I'm like, y'all old, dude. I'm 5 fucking years old. There's a lot of life I don't know. Bigfoot is still stalking you, dude. Shut up. Shut up. I'm gonna sit in bed today and be like, oh god, I can't even clench my hole together because I'm afraid. I'd rather deal with occasional butt bleeding than go through another Doctor Horror story. Valid. Did anyone else have to fight demons having to pick between pissing the bed or risk getting jumped by the piss monster when you go to the toilet at like 1 a.m.? What if Bigfoot watches your streams? Yeah, that'd be goated. What's up, Bigfoot? Hey, I know some motherfuckers watch my stream that might be confused with the abominable snowman or some Bigfoot-looking motherfucker.
Taken his own life. But upon finding Marcus, the girls weren't actually overwhelmed with sadness or even shock.
There's no way that, let's say, this is the dead body, right? Let's just say this is the dead body. There's no way the girls were like, look at what we just found. Oh, I forgot to post a clip. Oh, man. Oh, fuck. I meant to do that earlier. Anyways, let's go back to what we were doing.
As instead, their focus immediately went to something far different, as something on the man's body had caught their attention. His necklace. The girls really liked it. In fact, the unnamed...
Oh my... There's no fucking way. Oh, I'm gonna...
16-year-old had said that it matched her fashion perfectly. And so, before police arrived, the two would once again pull out their phone and start recording, showing Bethany approaching the body with her intention being to grab his necklace. Which she eventually does, removing the medallion and giving it to her friend, before tossing the chain into the grass nearby, leading to the girls running away from the scene. The 16-year-old would then post that video onto her Snapchat story for all of her close friends to see. I can't show the footage for obvious reasons, but it's truly awful. And just based on the audio alone, you can tell that they're very obviously having fun doing this.
You gotta do it now. Now or never. I got it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, they knew he was dead. Yeah.
There's something so uniquely disturbing about it. It's clear that upon finding the body, there was no real emotional impact on them, at least none that outweighed their desire to steal from it. And as if stealing from this man who had just taken his own life, and posting it for all their friends to see as if it were a joke, wasn't horrible enough, they then immediately posted this other video to TikTok.
Never mind, this shit cringe as fuck. I fucking hate this shit. I hate them posting this fucking TikTok. It was cringe. This trend has been fucking cringe. You just made it even worse. I got these jeans from the thrift. Where did you get your necklace from? Oh, a dead body.
To garner sympathy. It's truly awful, and made even more appalling by reports that claim that the 16-year-old had actually worn this medallion in the TikTok video, and in others made following its posting. And unfortunately, their actions had even more upsetting consequences, as the footage from their Snapchat story was quickly downloaded by someone they knew and posted onto an app called Nextdoor, with the footage being totally uncensored. And it was on this app where it's claimed that many of Marcus Adams' own family members would see the footage.
Oh, Jesus
many of whom weren't even aware that he was deceased.
Jesus Christ.
Just one day after posting this TikTok, both girls were questioned by the police after the incident and the footage was reported to them. And as a result, Bethany would be charged with theft of a human corpse, but would ultimately avoid any serious jail time. Meanwhile, the 16-year-old's name and charges were never publicly released, but we do know that the medallion was returned to the family, Perhaps unsurprisingly, Bethany would later come back to her TikTok page shortly after her arrest
The
and
truth.
share her side of the story, where she gave a less than half-hearted apology, while also claiming to be the victim, saying that her friend had pressured her to steal from Marcus, as well as pressured her into making that TikTok in the first place, because she thought it would be a hit. Though obviously this didn't go over well.
Alright, chat, last one. I already know she's gonna be mad depressing, bro.
December 20th, 1984, 12-year-old Janelle Matthews disappeared from her home in Greeley, Colorado in the evening hours. Earlier that day, she had sung at a Christmas concert with her school's choir, which her parents were unable to attend, as her mother was out of town and her father had gone to her sister's basketball game nearby, leading to Janelle catching a ride home with a friend. Being dropped off at her house sometime around 8:15, where she excitedly spoke to her father on the phone, letting him know that she had arrived home safe and sound. Approximately 1 hour later, her father, Jim Matthews, pulled into the driveway to find the garage door wide open, and the house completely empty. Janelle was gone, leaving behind her winter coat and even her shoes, despite it being a frigid, snowy night. And it was within that snow.
Put some Playboy Cardi on in the background real quick so I can detach from reality. I do not want to be immersed. Yeah, I know, right, dude? Listen to this Nick Crowley motherfucker fucking put the craziest fucking beats ever behind this crazy shit, bro. You should have been here earlier, Valen, before they were talking about the guy talking about his gastrointestinal and tract or whatever infection. The one that I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be fucking, I can't clutch my hole. This dude had some like fucking tribal like type shit like behind it, and the intro I was like, fucking what the fuck, who gave this guy an Artlist account, dude? What the hell?
That was quickly piling up that lie one of the only real clues left behind at the scene: footprints leading directly to one of the home's windows, insinuating that someone had been watching Janelle.
Oh nah.
12-year-old Janelle Matthews disappeared from her Greeley home 1 month ago today. It's believed she's the victim of a kidnapping. She has not been seen or heard from since December 20th.
Her disappearance became a big news story almost immediately, with the whole community and really the whole
Bigfoot for
country
you?
becoming invested in the fate of this girl, thanks in large part to her being one of the very first milk carton kids, meaning that her face and information about her disappearance was shown on countless milk cartons all across the country to get the word out. And as a result, this case became huge in the mainstream media, as even politicians began to make note of Janelle's story, with then President Ronald Reagan mentioning the girl in one of his speeches.
I learned about Janelle
He's looking up at us right now, being like, yep, I remember when I gave that speech.
Matthews of Greeley, Colorado. 5 days before Christmas, Janelle disappeared from her home.
Though even with this publicity, this didn't necessarily guarantee results, and soon months would turn to years, and eventually to decades. And all the while, Janelle's whereabouts remained a complete mystery. Eventually, the rise of the internet would start to play a key role in this case.
I was gonna say, where does the internet come into this?
Where even in the late 2010s, over 3 decades after she had vanished, her case was still being shared and still being discussed, just as it had been 3 decades prior, with it still being a point of contention for politicians, even as recently as 2019.
What?
When a man running for governor of Idaho mentioned her disappearance in a Facebook post, 35 full years later. Regardless of Janelle's whereabouts, her case was still very much alive, as the world, and especially Janelle's parents, were haunted by the question, what happened to Janelle Matthews? But sure enough, in late 2019, they would finally get their answer.
What?
Bones found in Weld County earlier this week appeared to bring an end to a 3-decade-long search for a missing 12-year-old girl. The Greeley Tribune is reporting they are those of Janelle.
Oh, it lagged, dude? Yeah, there's about 301. Go back. Oh, I got you. It's about 301 frames lag, but just in case we did miss any of it, here we go.
Finally get their answer.
Bones found in Weld County earlier this week appeared to bring an end to a 3-decade-long...
Further? How do I know you're not messing with me? Like 30 seconds? Fine. I'm sure it's not that big of a deal. Fine.
Book post. 35 full years later. Regardless of Janelle's whereabouts, her case was still very much alive, as the world, and especially Janelle's parents, were haunted by the question, what happened to Janelle Matthews? But sure enough, in late 2019, they would finally get their answer.
Bones found in Weld County earlier this week appeared to bring an end to a 3-decade-long search for a missing 12-year-old girl. The Greeley Tribune is reporting they are those of Jonelle Matthews.
On Tuesday, July 23rd, 2019, at roughly 4:50 p.m., a crew had been digging in an isolated field in Weld County, Colorado, in order to install a new pipeline, when they would uncover the decayed remains of a little girl. It was Jonelle, still wearing those clothes that she had worn to her recital, meaning she had likely died the very day she disappeared, having been killed by a single gunshot wound to the head. Jonelle Matthews had been murdered in cold blood, and almost immediately upon finding her body, the police would also zero in on their suspect. The man's name was Stephen Pankey, and at the time of Jonelle's disappearance, he had been living in the same general area in Colorado. But by 2019, Stephen had long since fled the area, as after the crime, he would eventually pack up seemingly out of the blue and move to Idaho, where when Jonelle's body was discovered, he just so happened to be running for governor. And during his campaign, Pankey had put out a bizarre Facebook post about Jonelle, calling for the Colorado DA to oversee a fresh investigation, as he stated that the local police had wrongly been focused on the theory that Jonelle's disappearance was a child abduction and murder, which was quite convenient, as just a few months after posting this, he would be arrested for the abduction and murder of Jonelle Matthews. Police believe that Jonelle had first caught Stephen's eye when he was working as a janitor at the church she attended, with this leading to him stalking her and eventually abducting her on that fateful night, where he threw Jonelle in his car and ultimately ended her life, for no reason other than his sick satisfaction. He then proceeded to bury her in a field 20 miles away, in a spot that he was certain no one would ever find her. Now, the evidence supporting this is mainly circumstantial, but it is incredibly concerning. Just one day after Jonelle's abduction, Pankey decided to take his wife to California. Concerning
Stephen Pankey, traditional core values with a biblical and constitutional perspective. Oh, awesome. Forgot when Jesus was like, yeah, dude, it's sick to fucking murder 12-year-olds and bury their bodies. Yeah, that's sick. Forgot when Jesus said that. Hey, guys, can somebody give me the passage? Hey, where does it say in the New Testament? Where does it say? When Jesus was like, yeah, that's swag. That was actually awesome. George Washington? When was he, or Benjamin Franklin, when were they like, yeah, it's awesome to kill 12-year-old girls? When did they say that? I was wondering, where does that say that in the Constitution? Does anyone have that place for me? It actually is biblical to kill someone since Jesus did it. I think so. Get checkmated, liberal. Yeah, they, the Romans killed Jesus, so yeah, it's biblically accurate, dumbass. I must have skipped that part when I was reading the Bible. Yeah, I must have skipped that part in Bible study, honestly.
Just one day after Jonelle's abduction, Pankey decided to take his wife to California in order to celebrate the holidays with his parents, with this trip being completely unplanned, as his wife was only told of it literally the day of. And making things stranger, when they returned home, Stephen's car conveniently caught fire and was burned to a crisp, to which he offered no explanation for. But in response, he would take the car to a local scrapyard where it would be even further destroyed, taking any potential evidence along with it. But while this is all strange enough, police say that the main indicator that Stephen was their man was his clear obsession with Jonelle's case. Shortly after the slaying, Stephen began listening and watching any news reports he could on Jonelle's case, while also having his wife read every single article about the missing girl out loud, to which he would often have her repeat them over and over again. But his obsession didn't stop there, as he would then start frequently calling the police, wanting to talk to them about the case, even going as far as to give them potential leads, as he claimed to be fearful that he was going to be blamed for the crime, despite having seemingly never even met her. And it was during some of these many unusual phone calls that he was said to have given details on her disappearance that were never actually made public. His obsession was entirely uncanny, bringing up her disappearance at random even decades later, with his Facebook post being a perfect example. And as it turns out, one of Stephen's most incriminating statements came as a result of something he mentioned in that infamous message. In it, Stephen says that his son Carl had been murdered in 2008, which is in fact true, as the murder was actually fully solved, with it being confirmed that Stephen had nothing to do with it. But when he was mourning the loss of Carl, something unusual happened. His now ex-wife recalled that following Carl's death, Pankey never once cried, until the day before his memorial service, where she watched him from a distance walk up to their son's urn and begin to sob, eventually blurting out, I hope God didn't allow this to happen because of Janelle Matthews. Despite maintaining his innocence to this day, Panky was sentenced to life in prison with a possibility of parole in 2040, his conviction coming 12,634 days after Janelle Matthews' disappearance, with Panky's cryptic Facebook post serving as a dark relic of his twisted obsession that would eventually expose him as Janelle's killer.
Dude, that's fucking insane.
I want to give a massive shout out to my buddy Ryan, aka Nexpo. A lot of you already know this, but Ryan is a really good friend of mine, and I'm super proud of him because he just released his very own podcast called Late Nights with Nexpo. Ryan's all about immersive and atmospheric storytelling, covering dark and bizarre mysteries.
That's awesome, Nick Crowley. Is he gonna tell me shit that doesn't make me contemplate life and death and shit like that? Huh? Is he gonna tell me some silly little murder story, maybe? Or maybe tell me some crazy little, what do they call him? ARG? Chris, I see your name in there. And where? In here? Chris, I see your name under there. Under where? Chris Gray? Is that what you're talking about right here? Guys, I'm really afraid to let this fart fly.
But Ryan is a really good friend of mine, and I'm super
George
proud
Lopez? Based!
of him because he just released his very own podcast called Late Nights with Nexpo. Ryan's all
Based
about
alert,
immersing no
logic
one would
with
ever
two
find her,
C's. Oh,
or
fuck.
rabbit holes, which obviously we all love here. And this podcast really captures his style
Oh, these are the little brokies right here, by the way.
so well, as it's basically
Yeah,
like
Chris
a
the Gray 92.
Expo video
from
just in
Morgan.
audio form. And he's releasing episodes every single week, which makes up for his abysmal upload schedule. Okay, I guess I'm not really one to talk. It's really good though, and it's
Hey, Nick, shut up.
exclusive content
Okay.
on top of what he's already making. And if you like my channel, and if you like the Nexpo
I'm gonna have to shaboing boing myself after this last video. I could have called it. I could have said, "Yo, I'm gonna go play Madden now," and been good.